All right, part 8, last part. The Clinton crime family. We're talking about the misdeeds of Hillary as Secretary of State. We're on just conclude about the Russian reset, Uranium One, that led to the collusion of Russia and the Clinton Foundation, all the rest of it. 2012, one of the biggest scandals one can blame Hillary, biggest scandals that one can blame Hillary for occurred. And that's what happened in Benghazi. The Secretary of State, she had over 60 requests from the people in country, in Benghazi, Libya, for support. And she ignored it all. And that is actually right down her, in the description of her job. And what it led to was 4 Americans, including the ambassador to Libya, being killed in a gun battle with, I guess you'd call them terrorists, but they were, Libyans, I think, from whatever the group was, I can't remember, in a firefight with military contractors and CIA people at the annex and the consulate there. An entire movie called 13 Hours was made about that by the people who survived that assault and had to go through it. It is well worth watching that movie. If any of you have any doubts that this could have been prevented, and when it was starting, it could have been thwarted early on, but they were completely ignored. Where was Hillary that night? Where was Obama that night? What were they doing, and what were they thinking? Well, they botched that so bad, there are 4 deaths on her head. And she made it even worse, because later, when the family members said, what happened? She lied to them. She lied to the American people. She said this was a video. Meanwhile, she sends emails and texts to her daughter and the president of Egypt saying that it wasn't about a video. She never even mentioned a video to them. She said it was terrorists. But to Americans, we get the video story. And this guy's harassed and harangued for years because of it. She lies to the widows or the parents and family members at the freaking funeral of these heroes and says it was about a video. And she's not yet to this day ever told them the truth. They sent out Susan Rice, who was the head of the, a spokesman for the State Department or the federal government at the time, Obama's pick, on a Sunday talk shows one Sunday after the Benghazi incident, and she lied 5 different times about this so-called video causing all this upset and sensitivity, the snowflakes that the terrorists were, as the cause of it all. And she gets roundly slammed, and as I mentioned, no bad deed goes unpunished in the Democrat Party. She was excused from her job and promoted to become Obama's NR, or National Intelligence Chief, whatever that thing's called. And did she have any experience in that regard? I don't know. But they do promote bad behavior in the Democrat Party. 2015, Hillary deletes 30,000 plus emails from a private server in the bathroom of some mom and pop shop in bumfuck Virginia, whatever it was, after those emails were actually subpoenaed by Congress. And then her phones were destroyed. They bleach-bitted. She had to bleach-bitted the computers and the laptops, which is to erase all the information on there. And gets away with it. 2016, Hillary and the DNC, in her next attempt to be president, cheat Bernie Sanders, that's a football player, Bernie Sanders, sorry Barry, out of a presidential bid by cheating him, by pulling fast ones in California by having the liberal governor of California, Mr. Brown, discount certain ballots, and in Iowa, and his own home district of Brooklyn, where Bernie would have wiped the floor with her in New York. And these led to him being unable to compete with her, despite all indications that he would have possibly given her a great run for her money and maybe even beat her. They treated his people and himself like dog crap every time they had any contact together, debates and whatnot, while she was given the royal red carpet of anointment of destiny. His people were treated like they were the lowest scum of the earth. Well, you know, I love it when liberals eat each other. It's nice to sit back and watch it happen, but we're talking about Hillary. If Bernie had no idea what he was getting into before, he sure as hell does now. And then, of course, like a typical liberal, he ends up campaigning for her later on, even though he completely hosed her in the campaign. That tells you all you need to know about Bernie, too. Agenda even trumps you being made to look like a total donkey. And of course, also in 2016, Hillary and the Democrat National Committee, the DNC, pay $12 million with the help of an ex-MI6 liberal putz from England to create a fake dossier on Donald Trump, which leads, apparently, this dossier to a FISA court warrant that allowed them to look into Donald Trump, and it turns out probably that all that was not only fake dossier, but completely illegal. And the people and the judge who let it happen and the people who created it and authorized it are going to be discovered soon, and that whole scandal is going to rock Washington as possibly the worst scandal in U.S. history. I shit you not. Wait for it. It's coming. So they tried to screw Sanders, and then they tried to screw Trump. And they lost anyway. Because, as I go for a full circle here, the problem was not Trump, it was not Sanders, it was not anything but Hillary Clinton. If you can't win with all that cheating going on, you can't win. And you shouldn't win. 2016 also was the year of that campaign where her chief of staff, Donna Brazile, she was the vice chair of the DNC at the time, because they're always in cahoots. In fact, it's known now that Hillary Clinton was giving money to DNC because they were short of cash, because they were, Debbie Wasserman Blabbermouth Schultz was bleeding cash because they didn't know how to, run their own finances, but they were going to run a government. And Hillary gave them a lot of money in exchange for control. So Hillary could tell the DNC what to do and where to do it and all this other stuff. So basically, Hillary was running the DNC. But the vice chair puppet of Hillary was a woman named Donna Brazile, who recently also came out with a book basically saying, she made me do it. She was a Democrat operative for years, and she gave Hillary debate questions prior to or at least one, but maybe as many as two primaries, debates with Bernie Sanders, and they happen to be, there's a shock, CNN debates. So why would CNN care? They wanted Hillary to win. Give the woman the questions. They were, somewhat innocuous questions, but they were still questions that she was given the questions beforehand, so she was prepared to knock them out of the park. Can you imagine a Republican being found out to having been given the answers to questions before a debate? Do you think this guy would get elected dog catcher? There's so much stuff we're not even knowing about yet, and we're just discovering about what shenanigans went on in that last election. So all these scandals, all the stuff surrounding the Clintons, like the amazing Clinton body count, people dying around them, the Clinton double standard, where they seem to get completely exonerated from things that you and I would never even come close to getting away with. And this doesn't even talk about the issues caused by just mistakes that Clinton made, either Clinton made, or bad judgment, poor, bad policy, liberal politics and agenda, etc. Doesn't even talk about any of that stuff, like bombing an aspirin factory in the Sudan to try to take the pressure off of the Monica Lewinsky scandal, for instance. These are just the criminal actions. Mostly the criminal actions. Some of them were not criminal actions, but big scandals. Makes these two the most corrupt politicians individually, let alone together, in the history of the United States. So I'm going to wrap this up saying this. Why is this relevant? As I mentioned, the Clintons have influenced American culture negatively and will continue to do so as long as liberals will box themselves into corners, rationalizing things that are unexcusable, by looking the other way, by administering double standards to protect themselves and their ideas and their agenda. The hypocrisy of the Democrat Party and liberals in general knows no ends, as I've mentioned time and time and time and time and time again. The Clintons are the poster children of hypocrisy when it comes to how Americans, half of them anyway, liberals, progressives, the media, sometimes the courts and other government agencies, have treated them. They have been kept in awe. Her two failed presidential attempts were, they felt like a slight, that something had to be against them, this vast right-wing conspiracy she created, she came up with, because the anointed one, the coronation of the Clintons, or at least of Hillary Clinton, never happened. So something very bad has to be at work here, of course. Meanwhile, while they're sitting there trying to figure out how bad right-wingers are against the Clintons, and they're trying to figure out how bad Donald Trump is because of the mean things he says, that must be a window into some bad, actual criminal behavior. This group who, before he even took the oath of office, was trying to work out a way to impeach the guy. It tells you all you need to know about the idiots in Congress who are so liberal they can't even get out of their own way. That's all you need to know about these people. But while they're doing that and looking at everything around them that they tried to blame that made them lose and continue to lose election after election, nationwide, government level and lower, or governor level and lower, they never look in the mirror. They never look at themselves. They never look at their candidate. They never look at the Clintons. They are given a pass. They're given a pass criminally. They're given a pass morally. They're given a pass in every possible way. They have become this family in a unbreakable bubble, doing things that you and I would only dream about doing and getting away with. It is time to end it. It is time that the shine is off of it. This isn't a shiny little bauble. It's a pile of dog poo. And it's time to call it for what it is. Bill and Hillary Clinton should be in jail. Nothing short of actual time in prison. Any number of these scandals and some of the other things that I've mentioned that took 8 freaking parts to talk about would land any one of us in hot water. We would probably be indicted and probably be convicted and most definitely indicted. It's Understandable they might have gotten away with one or two things. But 20, 30, 40? These transgressions go back 30 to 40 years. And they're broad range of things. Criminal activity, criminal enterprises, fraud, racketeering, money laundering, sexual harassment and rape, and murder, perhaps. There's no limit to what these people would have done and have done to obtain what they always dreamed of having: money, power, and influence. And they were successful in all, and the price was simply people got hurt along the way. Taxpayers got hosed, and America is all the worse for it. So, that's concluding, I guess, all I gotta have to say about the Clinton crime family. I'm not making this stuff up, folks. You can check it out yourself. Just be aware that there's a lot of people out there still carrying their water and still trying to protect them. In the FBI, in the CIA, in the federal government, deep in those basement offices, still trying to protect the Clintons. They have a personal interest in it, a vested interest in it, an agenda which makes them interested in it, but they're doing it. And it's time to wipe that all away. Clear the swamp, clear the fog from people's eyes. Even some liberal friends and family I know wouldn't vote for Hillary. They sat on their hands during election night, which was a half a vote for Trump. Don't tell them that. There's only so much you can, cover up. The kings of cover-up got away with it and have continued to get away with it. And it's time they don't. They need to be called to the carpet. They need to be convicted of the crimes that they are guilty of. Once and for all. It's orange jumpsuit time, folks. Once and for all. Let's end the Clinton crime cartel. See you on the next one.